Dr. Jeannie Barrow with FearlessWomenAtWork.com. I'm laughing to myself because I'm a little batty at this point. This is the third video that I'm shooting for you today, and I think it's important for me to do it. So I'm going to go for it. Today I want to talk about using a SWOT analysis, SWOT, but to use it in the context of a personal goal instead of a work-related goal. And here's what I mean by that. So normally we use a SWOT analysis to analyze risks and rewards as it relates to a work-related item. And the difference is to use it for your personal use, it means that we're going to get a lot of clarity around a particular goal that we're trying to achieve. Now, I am not a proponent of signing up for goals just because. I instead recommend that we focus on outcomes and results that we feel would have meaning in our lives. So I will start by saying, don't worry about just setting goals to set goals, but rather focus on an actual outcome that you want and try to understand why that outcome is important in your life. And why do I say this? Well, when we do that, when we focus on the outcome and the result that we want, and we are clear on why that result or outcome is important, then we will continue to be inspired to take the necessary steps to make it happen versus get lazy, go into overwhelm, or procrastinate, right, about the particular endeavor. So that's number one. Then once you have that outcome or result in mind, let's talk about how to use a SWOT analysis in order to get more clarity. If you're up for it, let's do it. So I'm going to be looking at the manual that I put together for the Fearless Leadership Retreat, where we cover this and so many more leadership development tools and ways in which we can empower ourselves to get from where we are to where we want to be. So this exercise, the SWOT analysis, let's use an example that will resonate with you, I hope, and that is getting to your next level, let's say. So regardless of what level you're at right now, imagine that you want to get to your next level. So that will be the outcome that we want in this example. So how do you use a SWOT analysis? Well, SWOT analysis stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis. So let's look at first, what are the strengths around this goal? So I've used in the past the example of, let's say, Carolina wants to get to her next level, and she is ready, right? She has been in her role for 5 years. She's ready to set strategy. She has learned a lot around what's involved in becoming, she's a manager now and she wants to become a director. But she's learned a lot about, creating strategy and being able to lead a team to implement and take action on that strategy. So now that's a strength, right? That she's ready for that. Another strength for her is that because she's been doing this work for so many years, she knows the ins and outs. She knows about the relationships that involved in this particular role and how everything works from an operational perspective, from a financial perspective, from a metrics perspective, etc. So those are all strengths. So think about what are the strengths that I bring to the table as it relates to the goal that I have in mind or the outcome that I have in mind. I'll give you an example for me. My outcome and result was to start my own business. So when I thought about what are my strengths around this, I realized, well, I've been in financial services and technology for over 26 years. I have been a leader for over 20 years. I am passionate about developing leaders. Those were all strengths for me. And another strength was that I would be able to leverage all that experience to be able to help my clients to do career strategy, motivational speaking, executive coaching, etc. So that was around strengths. The next aspect of the SWOT analysis is looking at the weaknesses, or as I prefer to call them, the areas for improvement. So if you're looking to get to your next level, what were some of Carolina's weaknesses, for example, or areas to improve? Well, Carolina doesn't have a lot of experience with P&L. the profit and loss sheets of a department. So that's an area where she needs to become more familiar. What does it take to run a department from a financial perspective? And maybe leadership skills that she may be missing, that she will need to have, such as to how to influence, how to negotiate, how to set stretch goals, and some of the leadership skills that you need at a certain level, right? One of my mentors, Fabian Fredrickson, always says, new level, new devil. So we only look at what we know, but then there's a lot of hidden things that we don't know about where we want to go that we need to deal with. So the weaknesses or areas for improvement could also be skills, like actual skills that you need to attain, such as, people who do that job have a Series 7 or a Series 66 and I don't have them, and then you need to acquire them. In my case, having my own business, there was a lot about sales and marketing that I didn't know about. I didn't know about putting in place systems for my business. I didn't know about the levers that I could pull to increase my leads and to increase the sales, and I didn't know how to implement an enrollment conversation. Those were all things that I needed to learn that I consider to be gaps or weaknesses. So for your next level, what are some of your areas for improvement? What do you need to learn? What are some of the gaps, the holes that you need to plug? The next part of the SWOT analysis is your opportunities. These are areas that you can leverage to get to your outcome. So in the case of wanting to get to your next level, what are some opportunities? You can start to network with people within your company. An opportunity is to start to learn more about the business side of things that you may not know as much. So anything that is related to the function that you're aspiring to get to, it's an opportunity for you to get more familiar with that. It's an opportunity for you to begin to develop potentially more sponsors and mentors that can help you get to those opportunities in the future or get to that level in the future. So these are all opportunities. For me, many of the opportunities were, for example, to start to network. An opportunity was to join a school where I would learn all of that, over what I mentioned before, what is my strategy, what are my systems, how do I identify my ideal client, how do I message to my market, to my ideal client, how do I close a sale. All of those were things that I had an opportunity to learn. And so they become then part of the things that I'm going to do. And for you, what are some of those opportunities that you have as you are looking to get to the next level? And the last part of the SWOT analysis is the threats. These could be roadblocks, things that can get in the way of your progress. So some of it could be fictitious and some of it could be real. So for example, a fictitious threat is that you don't have the confidence to go for it. That even though you in one hand feel prepared, on the other hand you feel that you don't know enough. And that other people who have gotten this job know so much more than I do. And you may be one of the people or one of the statistics who feels that you need to have 150% of the qualifications before you can apply for a job that is above your level. It's not uncommon, especially for women, to feel this way. So that could be a threat, right? If you don't shift your mindset around how you think about this, you may not go for it. And if you don't go for it, you will never get it, right? We can only have a chance at getting something if we at least go for it. So that could be a threat. For me, a threat to starting my own business could be that I don't have the money to invest in myself to learn the things I need to learn to fill the gaps and plug the holes. So that could be a threat. So once you get clear on what are the strengths that you have around the outcome, because this is an important outcome in your life, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses or areas to improve, or gaps as I call them, what are your opportunities? What can you do to give yourself a better opportunity to attain this outcome, a better chance? And then finally, what are the threats? What are the potential roadblocks? One of the roadblocks, for example, if you're looking to get to your next level within your company, is that there are no openings. So then that's the real threat. There are no openings for me to ascend to. It's me and my boss, and that's it. There's no other place for me to go. So at that point, what I recommend that you do once you make this assessment and done this SWOT analysis for yourself and your outcome and goal or result, is to then consider, how can I leverage the strengths and opportunities, and what can I do to mitigate the threats and the weaknesses? So simply that becomes part of what I call your massive action map, right? You're going to start listing, okay, for me to achieve this outcome, based on what I discovered about my strengths, my weaknesses, my opportunities, and my threats, these are some of the things that I'm going to start doing. I'm going to look to leverage the strengths and opportunities. I'm going to look for ways to mitigate the gaps and fill the holes and mitigate the threats. So many different strategies to do all of that. And please send me a comment, send me an email at info@fearlesswomenatwork.com if you need support with any of that. In the meantime, what you've done by doing this type of work for yourself is to get a ton of clarity around what is realistic and what is not. Now, many of us, and I know you know some people, you may be one of them, many of us sometimes want to achieve something. We want an outcome, but we want to dream about it. We don't want to take action that's going to propel us towards that outcome. And the only way that we're going to make anything happen is if we, one, identify what it is, identify why it's important to us, and then put in place steps and actions to drive us towards that. And in the process, stay inspired to continue to take steps and keep the momentum going. Because many of us know that many people can start something and then just let it go. When it gets a little too hard, when they face a challenge, when they face a roadblock. And that's when it's really important to have a strong support system that is going to give you a kick in the butt sometimes, or gently nudge you or push you towards your goal or towards the outcome that you're looking for. So please leave me a comment. If you have any other topics that you want me to cover in these videos, let me know in the comments. I truly appreciate your feedback. Are these working for you? Are they not working? What can I do differently? And how can I support you in a bigger and better way? I'm always curious to know. So leave me a comment. I'm at fearlesswomenatwork.com, and I look forward to the next topic. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.